What exactly is MTF?
MTF allows them to extend their positions beyond that same day.
Can you help us understand some of the biggest misconceptions?
It's not only a trading product, it can be used by traders as well as investors. When we were building MTF, we looked at the different kind of participants. So there were three. One is equity intraday traders, swing traders, long-term investors.
So, are there any lesser known use cases or features people know but they don't know how to use?
Everybody looks at investing via SIPs. So we have enabled smart SIPs even for MTF stocks.
One piece of advice to your younger trader self about MTF.
Leverage is probably like a sword. Use it when you need to.
Welcome to Fireside Chat. This is where we decode the markets and demystify trading and investing one episode at a time. Whether you're dipping your toes in the world of investing and trading, or if you're someone who lives and breathes charts, this one's for you.
Hi Yashas, welcome to episode 1 of Fireside Chat.
Thanks, Lucky.
Let's get straight into it. So first things first, what exactly is MTF? Lots of jargons around it. In simple terms, what is MTF?
MTF is margin trading facility. It gives you the ability to buy more than what you currently can with your required capital. So I'll explain this with an example. If you have 25,000 rupees, typically you can buy stocks only worth 25,000 rupees.
Yeah.
But with MTF, you can buy worth of 1 lakh rupees with the same 25,000 that you have. The balance is actually funded by FYERS, and the entire 1 lakh worth of stocks is going to be in your account.
Okay, so if I get it right, I actually have almost 4x leverage available.
Yes. So 4x is the maximum leverage which is possible with MTF.
And is there a logic behind the 4x? Is it defined by the brokers or is it defined by the exchange?
So the maximum upper ceiling of 4x is defined by the exchange. They want to be able to restrict the leverage across the equity markets. But within that, there are certain risk management calls which we can take at our discretion. But largely it is differing from stock to stock, but with a maximum upper ceiling of 4x. And you can get to know which stock has how much leverage allowed within the order window of the FYERS app.
Okay. So now since we know it's actually trade now, pay later, it's a leverage, it's a fund available for you. Is it meant for a specific type of trader or investor, or is it who's the core user, if I were to say, or is it actually meant for everybody?
So when we were building MTF, we looked at 3 different kind of personas. First is your equity intraday trader. Second is your swing trader. And third is your long-term investor. So equity intraday traders, typically you already have leverage. So they are playing for, let's say, price movements in terms of maybe price breakouts, technical breakouts. It could be event-based trading. So their thought process is the price is going to move up, but time is against them because they only have time till the end of the day. Yeah. And what we have seen many times is that they would have taken the right prediction that the stock will move up, but it may not have moved up on the same day that they took the trade. It may move up the next day or a couple of days after that. This causes a lot of frustration for equity intraday traders. They were right, but they got the timing wrong. MTF can actually be useful for such traders because they no longer have the time limit of end of day. They can carry forward those positions for much longer. That is one. Secondly, for swing traders, typically they have few days to few weeks, maybe a couple of months kind of duration that they look for. MTF is tailor-made for swing traders. And for the third category, long-term investors, we have seen some of them have very high conviction rate that this stock is going to go up in the long run. Could be 6 months, 1 year, or even greater than that. But they fall short of capital and they say, I wish I had more funds so that I can take advantage of the price movement. MTF can be beneficial for them as well. So it's not only a trading product, it can be used by traders as well as investors.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's one myth broken right there. It's not just for traders, it's also for long-term investors. Is MTF sitting right in between intraday and delivery positions?
100% right. Because in equity intraday, you get leverage, but there's a time component to it, which is only end of the day. Whereas for delivery, you don't have any leverage, but you can hold it for as long as you want. MTF is a combination of both. You get a leverage component to it, and you can hold on to that trade for as long as you want.
Yeah, so basically 4x leverage, and you can extend the position for as long as you want, which is best of both worlds. Actually.
Yeah, you could say that.
Can you help us understand some of the biggest misconceptions around MTF?
First and foremost, the word says margin trading facility, right? So there itself, most people think it's only for trading.
Yeah.
It's like we just spoke of. It's not only for traders. Investors also can make use of it. Secondly, I think the interest component is very misunderstood. When you say 12% or 12.5%, the first assumption is that I'm going to have to pay 12%, entire 12% for the end of the year. But MTF interest rate is calculated for only the duration that you utilize those funds. So if I utilize it for, let's say, 3 days, you will get charged interest only for those 3 days. That is a huge misconception which exists as of today. Third, I think people think that you need a lot of funds to actually make use of MTF. It is quite opposite of that. People who don't have funds or not sufficient funds is where MTF really shines. So if you feel like you have a shortage of capital to take advantage of opportunities, MTF is the right tool for you.
Okay, and is there a myth or misconception around it being a very risky product?
Yes, you're right. Risk, of course, whenever there is leverage, there is a risk component to it. But there is an upper cap in terms of risk, the leverage which is offered. So there is as per regulatory norms, MTF leverage cannot go higher than 4x. Just because it is 4x doesn't mean everybody has to utilize the entire leverage, right? So you get to decide how much of that you want to utilize. So yes, you have the ability to take risk with leverage, but you are in control of how much you want to make use of it.
Okay, so if I understand it right, there's up to 4x, and it's up to you how much you want to utilize. So I think it's up to your use case and how much you want.
And your risk profile.
And risk profile. So, and is why this 4x limit is actually by the exchange or is by the brokers?
So there is an upper limit in terms of maximum leverage defined by the regulators because they don't want to have excessive leverage in the market. Over and above that, sometimes brokers like us, we can impose additional restrictions whenever we feel there is excessive volatility or excessive price fluctuations, just to make sure that the risk levels are reduced.
Okay. Okay, so I've heard there's a big upgrade to MTF on FYERS. A lot of our users would want to know. So over to you. What's new? What's different? And what's better?
So we have changed almost everything about MTF over a period of time, starting with interest slabs. Earlier, we had just one interest slab. Now we have a layered 4 interest slab. And our lowest interest slab goes up to 12.49%. And we've introduced something which is zero interest slab as well for those people who want to try out MTF, want to see what it looks like, feels like. For them, people who have less than 1,000 rupees of position value, we don't charge any interest rate for them. Secondly, we have also increased the overall limits for MTF. So now you can have up to 50 lakh worth of MTF positions in your account across stocks. And for any one particular stock, you can go up to 25 lakhs.
Okay, so more leverage, which is up to 50 lakhs, lesser interest rates starting as low as 12.49%.
And so third, we have enabled the entire smart features for MTF. So in terms of smart orders, which are smart trail, GTT, smart limit, as well as smart step orders have been enabled. We've also enabled smart exit. And lastly, smart SIPs in terms of the encompassing of smart features for MTF. Along with this, we have simplified the withdrawal process for those people who have MTF positions in their account. And lastly, we have increased the overall list of stocks to 1,400 plus, which are enabled for MTF.
Okay, so summarizing for our users, we have interest as low as 12.49%. We have 4 simple slabs, not the complicated 5-6 slabs which are out there. We have more stocks to be traded now using MTF, which is 1,400 and more. And we have all of our smart suite features active on MTF. So they get the MTF boost now. This makes the MTF features or the product on FYERS probably one of the best out there. So one of the frequent question that comes up is on how many stocks is actually MTF applicable? Is it on some stocks or almost every stock that is traded out there?
So typically, exchanges define the universe with which MTF stocks are enabled. Over and above that, FYERS does our own risk management validations, which is based on liquidity, price fluctuations, volatility, all of these. And then we have curated the list of stocks which are enabled for MTF, which is 1,400 plus. This largely encompasses most of the stocks which equity intraday traders, swing traders, or long-term investors would look for. So broadly, I would say it encompasses around 95% of the universe, tradable or investable universe.
This is a part where I think I would like you to enlighten the users a little more than what they know. So are there any lesser known use cases or features of MTF that people don't usually talk about or refer to, or people know but they don't know how to use? So if you can, walk the users through those features, it would be awesome.
Sure. So I was telling you that for equity traders, you have equity intraday, swing, and long term. So in terms of equity intraday traders, you have our smart limit, our smart step, smart trail, which are enabled for MTF. You also have GTT orders, which are very useful for swing traders. We also have enabled smart exit, where you can just define your maximum profit or your maximum loss that you want to enable for your account. All of these functionalities are available for the trading perspective. Something very interesting that we also enabled for long-term investors. Everybody looks at investing via SIPs. So we have enabled smart SIPs even for MTF stocks.
Okay, so basically trader, investors, intraday guys, swing traders, there's something for everybody in terms of products and applications.
Yes, and we wanted to cover the entire circumference of equity market participation.
This is quite insightful, and I think a lot of folks who would want to use MTF beyond the regular everyday features, I think this is very, very useful. Now let's move into the how of it, right? So if I'm new to trading, or if I've just signed up on FYERS, right, or if I'm also a regular user, if I were to start activating MTF, the question is, are there any prerequisites around using MTF? Any checklist? How does the onboarding work? So if you can just walk us through it step by step, as it would happen, it'll be great.
Sure. So MTF enablement needs to be done before you start trading. It's a very simple two-step process. You go to the app. You have to first enable DDPI. DDPI just removes the requirement of OTPs while you're buying and selling of stocks. Once you've approved your DDPI enablement, immediately after that, you have to accept the terms and conditions for MTF. Once you have done both, MTF is enabled for your account.
And so when you say MTF is enabled for your account, after that, you when you are actually taking positions or starting to trade, MTF shows up in the buying process.
Yeah. So the way MTF trading works is very similar to your equity intraday or your overnight investment. When you go to the order window, you can see 3 tabs. You can see equity intraday, you can see overnight, and right next to that, you can see MTF. The order placement flow remains the same. When you go to MTF, you can see how much is the leverage offered, what would be the overall charges. And once you place that order, the flow remains the same. You will be able to see your orders in the orders tab, and you will be able to see executed orders in your positions tab. The only difference for investors would be that typically investments are seen in holdings, but MTFs will be visible in the positions tab.
Now we will head to a very interesting section called Rapid Fires. Little fun around the idea of MTF. I'll shoot.
Sure.
Biggest myth about MTF you could?
It's only for trading.
Okay. We just busted that myth. True or false? MTF is only for swing traders?
Absolutely not.
Would you use MTF on your personal trades?
Definitely, I have been using it.
Describe MTF in one word.
BNPL for stocks.
Interesting. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger trader self about MTF, what would it be?
I still consider myself a young trader, but I would say use leverage with caution. Just because it's available doesn't mean you use it entirely. Leverage is probably like a sword. Use it when you need to.
All right. This was quite insightful, Yashas. Almost a masterclass on MTF. We decoded a lot of unknowns of MTF. Lots of myths busted. Some very smart tips given out. I am very excited that we should do this more often on many more of our products and features. So look forward to bringing you here again. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Lucky. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to being back.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.